The sellers basically want to know that you can get the deal done, you can put money in their pocket, and you can make sure they're straight. I recently had a seller like this one that Shannon pretended to be, and the seller said, I have an aunt in this house, and she's staying in the house right now. I don't want to just put her out. Can we do the deal, and will you give me a month for her to move out? I said, better than that. Let's make sure we close in 45 days, so then we have more than ample time to make sure she's moved. I'll even help with the moving truck. I will go over, and if you're getting her property in another state, I'll make sure that we put her in touch with professionals in that state that will get the deal done. How does that sound to you? So you always want to be the solution for the seller. You want them to know you got their back. I had another seller who said to me, the same thing. Well, what am I getting for the property? I just want to know, because I want to know if you can afford to buy this property. And I always say, yes, ma'am, we have access to unlimited cash, but we still have to make sure that the property, the numbers make sense. And then I don't stop there. If you notice what I did with Shannon is when she would say something, I would answer her, and then I'd ask my next question. The person asking the question is controlling the communication, not the person talking all the time. The person talking all the time, if you read books on negotiation, and if you've had experience negotiating, I see people like Cy on this call. I know you guys have had experience in negotiating. John, you've had experience in negotiating. The person that opens their mouth the quickest, you are the one that is going to be, you're not in control of the conversation. So one of the things I teach my students or my clients, whatever you want to say, the people that I'm coaching and mentoring, is learn. I know this worked for me, so I teach you based on what worked for me. And when I first started, I thought that answering every question, if I had been brand spanking new and she said I needed the price, I would have told her. But when you do that, you either open them up or shut them down. And you don't want to do that because you haven't collected all your information. But now I never give that price point up front. And I never let them, if they ask me a question, I answer it in a question back. So I can drive the conversation. And the worksheets are really good because I didn't ask her in the order of the worksheet, but everything on this worksheet I did ask her. This particular worksheet does not have about the roof and all of that. Because with this particular worksheet, one of the things that I would have asked her was, are you open to seller financing? Are you open to being the bank on this particular property? But I didn't ask her because one of the things she said is the focus was moving her aunt. And I want her to see that I am willing to help her with that. I'm willing to help her move, and I'm still building the rapport. Most people want to do it real quick and move on to the next. That is not the way I operate my business. So if you are the person, and neither one is wrong. If you want to get all your information up front and keep it moving, then I would have asked her, are you open to seller financing? And all she can do is say yes or no. And some people will say, well, what is seller financing? And I'll say to them, this is where instead of you getting your money in one lump sum, you get it on a monthly basis. Now, if you're retired, I think it would be really helpful to you to get an extra few $100s or an extra $1,000 a month or a little bit more than that. That'd be beneficial to you. So again, this is another reason that I say scripts are so important. Most top real estate investors or real estate agents or people that have mastered their scripts. They know what to say to drive the seller to do what needs to be done to get the deal done. So this stuff is so good that you can push people in places they didn't want to go. As you notice, one of the things with Shannon, when she said, I have to talk to my, way to go. I have to talk to my, thank you for following me. I see that. Thank you. I have to talk to my sister because I don't know when she'll be in the house. I kind of gave her a time that works with the time she has. So now I guarantee you when she called back, she'd say, yes, my sister can be here Monday at 11 o'clock or Monday at 4 o'clock. It's still Monday. So if I were new to this, I would have let her tell me, no, we can't do anything. When sellers give you an objection, they're basically saying, I don't feel that comfortable with you yet. I don't feel like I'm going to get everything I want yet. They're not saying no to you. You got to get your scripts and dialogues to the point where they don't say no to you, but you can say no to them. And that's what I do with the scripts and dialogues. Like I said, with the lady that I had earlier, I pretty much said, it's too much of this energy. She was basically telling me what I was going to do. And I determined for myself that that is not a client I want to deal with. That's not a seller I want to deal with. That is not. Because I look at this, I'm coming to help you. You have the real estate issue. What new investors do, they're like, oh, I got to find somebody because I need some money. That is you got to change your paradigm and how you see this. You are the professional, and you become a better professional when you invest the time, the finances to get on a coaching program, to get and have somebody that you have access to help you walk out the deal. Then you become better at it. If you have experience already, maybe you don't need scripts. Maybe you need to find somebody who can make sure you can finance every deal you get. Your business will tell you what's lacking. But if you're new and you haven't closed a deal, I would definitely work on my scripts and dialogues. I would definitely work on marketing even more. And marketing even more doesn't mean that you have to go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. That would not be your wisest thing in the beginning. The best thing you can do is talk to people so that you can make your mistakes in the beginning. One of the greatest things I learned when I was with 5 Links, and I don't down the company, I got my lessons out of it, and I moved from there. I still coach and mentor people in multi-level marketing, but one of my greatest lessons there was that in the beginning, people won't work with you that may even know you unless they love and trust you. So some people, when they got started, they would go try to tell somebody, I want you to join this business with me. Let's say you sell healthy tea and you're trying to sell this healthy tea. You're going to go to everybody you know and say, buy this healthy tea. And they're not going to buy it from you because they know 2 months ago, hi there, 2 months ago, you were selling healthy hair. And then the month before that, you were selling, cars. And the month before that, you were selling shoes. You're not consistent. So now they're not going to be in the first 10 people that work with you, but they might be in the first 50 people that work with you. And I say this to say some people, you're not going to get the deals because in the beginning, you're still learning. And the best way to learn is to go talk to people and to build up your confidence in what to say. If you just focus on, real estate investing is about me getting the cheapest house and selling it for the most money or wholesaling it for the most money, you're not really going to get a lot more deals done. When you practice really becoming an expert of letting the seller know that you're there to help them. For me, if a seller needs to move, I share this story over and over if you've been following me. One of the sellers, all I had to do, and I had my daughter with me, she was so mad at her husband, she wanted to get rid of 2 properties before he came back home. And she told him before she came back home, because she told him she was going out of town, and her husband didn't know that she didn't go out of town. She came back and caught him cheating, and she wanted to file a divorce. So she didn't want to file the divorce until she got rid of the houses, because she didn't want him to get any money out of it. And so she said, I just want to get my stuff out of that house. And I went and rented a U-Haul, helped her pack her stuff, and it got me 2 properties. So, but it would have never happened if I was just sitting there saying, no, I don't get U-Hauls. I don't drive U-Hauls. I want you to give me this house, and I'm going to give you $5,000, $50,000, whatever your number is. So again, it's about building rapport. It's about building rapport and having, the bigger you build your team, and that's why, to me, it's so important in the beginning of your business to have access to somebody who's been in the business. And when you join them, you join their community. One of the greatest things that happened to me by using Robert Allen to be one of my first mentors, instead of Carlton Sheets or everybody else, even in this day, it wouldn't be somebody like, let's say, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It wouldn't be somebody like that, because their organization is so huge that if I have a problem with my deal, I can't get on the phone, I can't text them, I can't email them, and they respond back to me, this is what you have to do or say next. So the greatest thing you can do is find somebody to mentor you, that you have access to their community. When I connected with Robert Allen, he gave me access to his community. Everybody that trained him was now training me. His lenders were at my access. The people who knew creative financing were at my access. So when I got a deal, I was able to say, this is my situation, what do you think? And then they helped me. And that is the way I have built my organization and the people I train. They have access to me. So if there's a financing problem, I can send them to the people that have financed my deals. If there's a real estate problem, I can send them to a real estate I've dealt with. If there's a title issue, I can send them to the title company I've dealt with. And I don't do it because those companies give me money. I do it so that my person that I'm working with closes their deal. Once you close your first deal, it changes your energy and your belief in yourself to keep going. And so in the beginning, you don't even know what you don't know. And so when a seller has an objection, you think, okay, I'm going to get this deal by answering them. No, you'll get this deal if you stick to getting all the questions that you need to have and build rapport at the same time. And rapport just means I find the things that we have in common. And in Shannon's case, I knew I had a limited time to role play the call with her. And so that's why I didn't go through the whole call. But normally what I would do is when I'm speaking to somebody, if I hear they have a New York accent, we'll talk about New York for a minute. If I hear that they have, like she had children, if I was going to build rapport, I would have said, oh, I have children too, and this is my situation. Or when she said something about her sister, I would have said, I have that same situation with my sister. I know how you feel. I have a younger sister that I look out for, or I have an older sister that I look out for, or I look out for my mom, so I know how that could be. Those types of conversations build rapport. You cannot go any further with the seller and get more money in your pocket and in theirs without building rapport. Because there's a saying, and it's very true. People don't care what you know until they know you care. So you have to show them you care. And I spoke to her the way she was speaking to me. I used her cadence, her energy. If she was somebody very professional and rigid, I would have spoke very professional and rigid. If she was somebody that had like a Jamaican twang, I would make sure I brought up the fact that I've been to Jamaica a few times. If it's somebody West Indian, I'd say, oh my God, you're very similar to my culture. So you're always looking to build rapport. And then you go for the stats. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What's the square footage? Did you do any repairs? How's the roof? How's the electricity? I just did another transaction, and the people told me everything's great with our plumbing and our electricity. And this is a deal in another state, so I have boots on the ground there. So we sent that person to go check it out, and they said, no, this place has a lot of electrical problems and a lot of plumbing, but it's still a great deal. Now, when I got that deal, then I can go to my lending part and say, here's what I'm thinking with this deal. Do you see any other options that could net me more and still give them what they want? And then they open me up to other things that can be done. And that's what happens when you build relationships. Some of my relationships have been almost 30 years. I have attorneys I've been working with since the early 90s. I'm still working with them. I have real estate agents that I've dealt with since then. I have title company, and on and on. I can go on and on. And then there's new relationships, because you always want to keep building. But I never focus on this information until I make sure that we are building rapport, and until I can see that I can drive them and they're not driving me. So no matter what Shannon said, I still went back to what I have to say. And it didn't contradict, I never ever gave her a price. I can't give her a price, because I have an idea. When somebody calls me for my marketing material, one of the first things I do is I look up the address, okay? And then I look to see what is the estimated value of the property as it is now. And then I look to see what's sold in that area. If I'm going to add a bathroom, what would it be? If I'm going to add another bedroom, what would it be? If I'm only just going to do cosmetic stuff, what is going to bring me the most value in that property? Once I have those numbers, then I try to make sure that I'm doing a face-to-face with the seller. I never give the seller a price unless we're doing a FaceTime and I can see their face and they can see mine. I never just want to say, or text them. Sometimes people say, just text me. I had a person that got one of my marketing materials, and they said they got one of my postcards, and they said, I got your postcard and you're interested in this house. I want $125,000. Can you pay that? Do you want to give me that? And I simply responded, I possibly could, but I can't be sure until I get more information. Let's plan to speak Wednesday, either between 10 and 12 or between 5 and 7. Let me know which works better for you. And that's it. But I'm not going to say, yeah, I'll give you 125, and then I got to get in front of them and sit in front of them, and now I got to battle them face to face to bring them down to, let's say the house is only worth $70,000. You don't want to do that. It won't feel like you're doing this with each other if you've built rapport. So I focus on getting the rapport, and never feel like, oh my God, if I do it her way, I'm going to lose the deal. I promise you'll close more deals if you get the sellers to feel more comfortable with you before you start throwing what you got to have. I find that new people that I'm speaking to more often, their issue is they want money now. And I say, no, don't focus on the money. Focus on learning the skills, and then you'll make a lot of money. But if you're just thinking, oh my God, I got into real estate so I can make an extra $2,000 and I haven't made it yet, you haven't made it because you're not doing the work to make it. The money is out there. The deals are out there. I promise you. There's never been a marketing piece that I sent out and not gotten lots of calls. You in the beginning, you want your phone to ring. You want people to come to you and say, yes, I'm thinking of getting rid of this property. Now, I also get people that say, no, I'm not interested in selling my house. Last week alone, I had a lady call me and say, left me a message, because she left me a message, and the message was, I never want another thing coming to that house saying that you're interested in buying it. I never want anything coming there. My mother lives there, and she's not selling the house. So I warned you, don't send me another letter. And that's the message she left me. And so I called her back. I said, ma'am, I appreciate how you feel. Just so I make sure I take you off my list, just confirm the address for me. And if anything changes, you have all my information and we can be in touch at that point. And she said, yes, my address is 234 Main Street. That's it. We're not going to battle. So in the past, I wouldn't even respond to those people. But for me, it strengthens my scripts and dialogues. And so what I'm going to encourage you to do is I really want you to go speak to a seller and practice asking them all the questions from one of the worksheets we have on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. Download it and make copies of it. Write the information. If you have access to an app where you can put a worksheet on there and be able to change the information, do that. But use a format to collect the information. That's what you're after in the beginning. You're after building rapport and collecting information and making sure the seller knows that you want to work with them. You want to work it out. The three things you're after. Don't think in your mind, I got to get the contract. I got to get the contract so I can get paid. Because they're going to feel like you're a vulture and you're just chasing them after their money. If you noticed, even with Shannon, I was kind of pressing her, but she didn't even feel like she was being pressed because she turned around and answered me. And that's because of the tone I was using. I was speaking in her cadence. And so it was fine. Okay? And so that's what I want you to get out of today's training. If you are on the closed RIA, or if you're in one of our meetups, I'm going to send you an email, and if you have any objections that you want us to handle, if you are on our closed page and you're interested in real estate, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I'm not going to tell you what day yet, but I'm going to be doing a Q&A where you can ask me the questions one-on-one, and I'll address them there, because everybody in that space, the RIA on our Facebook page, is real estate minded. So, and they've been in real estate or trying to be in real estate, and I've either mentored them or they're connecting or have been mentored by somebody else or myself. So they don't take things and they don't ask stuff. There's no thing that's called a stupid question, but some of the stuff that you're asking are right on the worksheets that I freely give you on the page, and you can download it there. Practice any one of those worksheets. Get it in your spirit, because once you get at least one, whether it's the for sale by owner, the seller financing worksheet, the seller's lead sheet, any one of them have basically all the questions you need to ask somebody. And so one more time, your goal is to get the person to call you, and you're focused on building rapport. The second thing you're after is to collect all the information you need. Don't throw a number out there. If you have an investor that you're looking for houses for, you got to make sure the numbers work for that investor, or the deal works for that investor, because you're the man in the middle trying to get paid from getting the seller to the person that's going to take it off your hands. And so if you just force a deal and you've not built rapport, those two can find each other and work without you, and you don't want that. And so you definitely want to build the rapport, collect all your information, and then let the seller know you will take care of their problems. Shannon's problem was, I got to help my sister move, and I let her know we're here to do that. And so once you do that, they'll definitely communicate with you and let you know. Or they'll tell you, you know what, this is not working for me. Don't take it personal. Move on to the next. Don't waste your time trying to force people to work with you. Do enough marketing, whether you got to drive for dollars, do more postcards, do more letters, whatever it is that you got to do to get more people on the phone with you. Do that. Call for sale by owners. They're telling you that they want to sell their homes. Use the worksheet. These people don't know you. And if they don't want to work with you, say, okay, good, at least I got I practiced my script on that person. Now the next person that comes, I'll be better. And take time after you speak to a seller to play the call back in your mind. I've done millions of calls, I'm not exaggerating, and I still role play in my mind that call, because I say, what could I have done better on that call? What did I do good on that call? What script could I have switched that around to? And it just makes me better the next time. With that being said, this is Wendy Lovejoy of the yellowlettermentoring.com. Again, if you have scripts or something or objections that you've received in the past and you need my help or want my help with it, and you're part of our closed the RIA meetup on Facebook, that is a closed group just for real estate people, or if you're in our meetup, the RIA meetup page, or our meetup in Long Island, I will be happy to help you with your scripts and dialogues. And if you want to take a deeper dive, you can go to the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. There is a success scripts package that's only about role playing scripts and dialogues. And if that's something that seems like, you know, you'd be interested in, and it will give you access to everybody on my team, I would encourage you to connect there. And if you just want to continue to stay in this community, we'll be doing more of these live trainings, and we'll be doing some pop-up trainings on Instagram. So follow me there at Wendy Lovejoy Trainings, and of course on the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page. Okay, with that being said, this is Wendy Lovejoy. I hope you got something out of today's call. I did give you some nuggets. I hope you caught them. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.